This is absolutely strategic to say to people to fully participate in the life of the city and to love and enjoy this city, go get vaccinated. We believe it's going to make a huge impact. We're obviously seeing a real uptick in vaccinations already. We made a decision weeks and weeks ago. The whole ball game is vaccination. And once you make that kind of profound strategic decision, you throw everything you got at it. We are not interested in half measures. We're interested in vaccination. So making vaccination something that allows you to enjoy all that's good in life.
That is New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio announcing that in your hometown, bars, restaurants, gyms, sporting events, you name it, basically, you're going to have a vaccine passport in order to go and be able to fully participate in city life. So, Buck, we talked about this a little bit last week. Your brother is getting married this weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
And in order to get married, they were requiring that you have vaccines in order to fully attend the event. What decision did you make?
Had to get the J&J shot.
You went and got...
So there are a few things. First of all, and I know people right now, I can feel like people are frustrated. I've been getting emails about it. I'm not missing my brother's wedding.
Yep.
That's the bottom line. It's just not happening.
The only suggestion I had was you could either get the vaccine or get a fake vaccine card.
And for me, given what I do and say here, to be caught with a forged government document possibly, or to be on air talking about how I'm unvaccinated and then going to places that are requiring vaccination. Look, I don't think a restaurant is going to necessarily, call the feds on me, but, I don't want to test it out. So here's just a few things about how this all went down and how, for anyone who's listening, before anyone thinks, oh, this is a New York, first of all, it's a New York, L.A., San Fran, New Orleans, where am I? I mean, all those cities already are doing this. So This is happening.
It's spreading rapidly. Philadelphia, all over the country.
They're going to make this, I'm telling you right now, the same way that we told you that boosters were coming for everyone and have been saying that now for months. I mean, we've been saying it together on this show. I've been saying it previously on my show and Clay on his. I'm telling you, they're going to try, if they can get away with it, to use the interstate commerce clause to have a federal mandate about travel, airplanes, because they're going to say, you don't have to fly. You don't have a right to fly. This is what they're going to do. So for anyone who thinks this is not their problem, I'm telling you, they are going to try to make it your problem. So just how it went down in New York City, because I thought you'd appreciate this, Clay. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what am I going to do? I have, if I don't get the shot. By the way, the venue is requesting in advance proof. So you can't even show up. So now you're talking about...
You have to mail it to them, email it to them.
You got to email it to them.
Scan it, take a picture
and then they're going to have a list at the door, and they're going to have...
Checking
IDs. Fascinating situation, too, because now we have New York City saying you need not only a vaccine passport, but a matching ID to go into any public or government building in the entire city. I guess except for when you want to vote, because that, Clay, as we know, would be racist.
Yeah, well,
racist to have ID to vote.
And let's also reinforce here that the impact of this rule, this law, this regulation that New York City and other cities are putting into place is going to be a lot of Black and Hispanic people don't have the ability to enter into many public venues in their cities.
More than half of the African American population of my hometown, New York City,
is now unable to go to a bar or restaurant.
Unable to go to basically any movie, any public place under New York City law. Gym, any public place. So, I mean, this is madness, but just to give you a sense of what I went through. So I'm walking and I'm going, okay, because the whole time I'm not getting the shot because I medically didn't need it. And I want to be very clear.
Had COVID.
I already had COVID. There was absolutely no medical basis. I haven't changed my opinion. And for those of you who are wondering, I am more ticked off, shall we say, now than ever, because I was basically forced. I mean, in my mind, they gave me an impossible choice, just as we've had people writing in to say, should I lose my job at a hospital or should I get the shot, Buck? And I mean, this is a tough call. People have pensions. People have families. They have mortgages to pay, right? And they've turned the screws.
And this is what the government is relying on to force you to do it, making other places, not the federal government, but local and business to do it.
They said they wouldn't do it. And they are doing it, too. Just remember that. The incrementalism of progressivism is on display here with the way that they've said, oh, no, it's not a slippery slope. It absolutely. They're saying it as we're slipping down the slope together, and people across the country who think, oh, I'm in Texas, it's not going to affect me.
Or Tennessee, where we are right now.
Or Tennessee, where we're sitting right now. Yeah, it won't affect you until you've got a sick grandma, not, from COVID, that's sick on the other part of the country. You want to go visit her and make sure she's okay. And they say, where's your vaccine passport? Because the airlines don't want to have to do this. So I think the federal government will likely step in and say, well, we're the ones that are going to request this. And I have a whole pitch as to why, by the way, because I know that right now the Biden administration says they're not going to do it, but it has to do with boosters. But here's what I wanted to say about going through New York City. So, Clay, I'm walking, you come visit New York a lot, the city. I'm walking north of, just below Times Square, north of Herald Square, and there's like a mobile vaccination site. And there are these two young guys, both of them are minorities, two young guys who are kind of the
front-facing
employees. They're sitting there at the desk taking in people that at this van. And I go up to them, I start chatting. They're very nice guys, chatting them up a little bit. And I'm like, so guys, I think I'm just going to go get this done because I'm looking at the wedding invitation on my phone. I'm just like, I can't have this stress. So I walk up to them, I'm like, I'm just wondering. So I have a choice here, right? I think it was Pfizer or Moderna, or maybe there was another site nearby. So I said, I'm just wondering. I just asked, what did you guys get? And one of them looks at me and goes, oh, I didn't get the shot.
He's working at the vaccine.
He's working at the vaccine, mobile
front-facing guy who's trying to sign people up.
And he's like, I didn't get the shot.
well, they're not even mandating it for people who are working at the vaccine clinics.
That's what I thought was. I'd sitting here, I'm thinking, okay, this is a pretty remarkable circumstance. And then I go to another city clinic. So I went through this whole. I didn't go to the drugstore. It could have been easier. No, I went to the city clinic because I wanted to get the J&J shot.
Which is the one shot, right?
Which is the one shot, and also a traditional vaccine, not an mRNA vaccine technology. So I figured this is what I got to do. So I go to this city site that the city of New York sets up, and I walk in. Okay, I'm not going to. I went in and I had a scooter, but let's not worry about that right now. So I go scooting. I know, I didn't have to tell everybody that was bad. I'm an honest guy, Clay. I'm an honest guy. So I go scooting into the vaccine
You and the State Department dudes are going to have a lot of fun hanging out together.
That's right.
You can ride scooters
We put down our tiny...
Talk about how inclusive you are.
We put down our tiny macchiatos for a second to get our shots. And I go in there and I sit down with this nurse. And I can tell you, I don't want to say that I know that she probably listens to us on radio in New York City on 710 WOR, but I have a feeling she probably, she sits down, she looks at me, and I'm like, I can't believe, I'm furious that I'm doing this. She goes, you sure you want to do this? You do your research? I'm like, what do you mean? Am I sure I want to do this? I'm like, I looked at her.
Did you ask her if she had gotten the vaccine?
Yeah, she said she was mandated to.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, well, I told her the whole thing.
Wedding.
She was like, she's like, I know. Herd immunity, natural immunity, rather. It's so crazy. The city's not taking that in. So she was totally on board. The woman was about to give me the shot, and then she's like, "Are you sure you want the J&J?" She's like, "I don't know. You might want to get the." I was sitting here. I'm like, I thought your idea was supposed to be just jab me as fast as possible. She sort of put a little. She was very sweet and put a nice little Band-Aid on me and sent me on my merry way. Look, I didn't have any side
What day did you do it?
This was right before the weekend.
So you had no side effects. You had no issues.
No issues. No nothing. I mean, my arm was a little sore the same way it might be from a flu shot, but I've had no side effects or issues. But here's the point I'm making, Clay. They're making people that are adamant bend the knee. What choice, if you live in New York City, if you have rent or a mortgage to pay, if you have a job that depends, media companies now, a lot of them have mandated everybody gets the vaccine.
That's right.
What are we going to do? And I would offer that part of the problem here is that we've been split because in places where you've had greater freedom, my friends, including my two brothers who had moved to Florida over the pandemic, they feel like this is a problem for other people. And I've been trying to wave the flag saying, you don't understand. These progressives, these leftist loons in the Biden administration, Dr. Fauci, they're nuts. They're never going to leave you alone until we stand up to this together. And so now I feel like, we're taking vaccine hits here, and people are realizing, oh, this is actually coming for all of us.
Yeah, and we need to talk about this booster element, too, because the big fear, if you listen to us when we've talked with Alex Berenson, by the way, his numbers continue to become more and more accurate based out of Israel, is even if we had 100% vaccination rate in the United States right now, COVID's not going away. We're never going to be at COVID zero, and that's important. We need to talk about that.